Hello everyone and welcome to what I believe is my first ever world record reaction video for Mario Kart World. I actually have been not keeping up with the world records super recently. So I wanted to dive in to just what's been going on in the whole time trials scene. I have been following the January world records because I was going to make a world record recap video for that, but it was not going well making that video. It just wasn't, I wasn't liking how it was turning out. It wasn't really me, I guess. So I've been, oh yes, there's this new strat where you trick, oh, you trick off the tires too? I knew you tricked off the actual signs, but I didn't know you tricked off the tires too. That's kind of incredible. But yeah, this actually beats the former glitch world record on this track now. So we've gotten to a point where a glitch where the tires were able to be removed so you can just go through them without any worry. That world record is beaten now by this new strat. Okay, so I guess sometimes you can't get the tires because of the fact that you're actually going too high from the signs. Maybe the air time is kind of random. But this definitely looks like a strat that could be worth learning. I'm not too sure if it's consistent or not. I've also not been too familiar with how they get the tricks. Oh, he actually misses one at the end here. So this can be improvable, not by too much, because it seems like the misc heading into each lap is pretty good, but that's a really good record. I kind of forgot what the glitch world record was, but I know this beats it. But yeah, let's move on to the next track. So I forgot to mention, but the first world record was by Optic. Was actually going to try and get that in at some point, because I even looked up how to pronounce his name before this video started, but then I just forgot to mention it. But anyways, this world record is by Pluto 204008. Oh, okay. Do a little weird trick into the rail. I'm not too sure how much faster that is compared to just like letting your character go off the rail and then getting an air trick. Either way though, excuse me, you get this little, it's like a half nisc. It's not really a nisc at all actually, but you charge jump and you shroom to make sure you land on that fence. I think people have been trying to find a way to get that part faster, because it seems kind of slow a little bit, but they have not been too successful yet. This world record, I believe, features a brand new shortcut, though, that I'm super excited to see, because it's been in the works for a long time, and I haven't seen it yet performed in a world record. So, the reason why I know it's in here, but I haven't actually seen it, is because I follow the Discord of the Mario Kart World time trials, where they have like world record announcements, where they show the screenshot of, oh, he actually doesn't get the trick there. So there's a little bit of improvement to have there, excuse me. But yeah, the new shortcut is happening right here, I believe. Oh no, they're still not doing it yet. Okay. Well, maybe I'll show it on screen. But there's a new shortcut here that allows you to, like, clip a box and go really, really far. I'm not too sure what saves a ton of time here, though. Maybe it's just a perfect run, but I thought this was where the new shortcut was happening. But not quite a 203 yet, but a really, really good run, I'm guessing, without the box nisc. So let's move on to the next track. So this is a world record I'm familiar with because I believe this was set in January. So this is Whistle Stop world record by, you guessed it, George. If you've ever followed any of the world records on this track, you'd know this guy's held the world record for the majority of the game on this track. Basically, past like the first month, he's had the world record on this track, and no one's gotten even close. I think recently that's not been the case. People have started to get closer. But yeah, they do that shroom Gap Cup, which I go for online quite a bit. I don't go for this, though. This is insanity. Reason being is because timing that to perfection is really hard. And so is that. I don't know how he gets that just in all of his world records, just the double left trick on that rail. I've tried to get that, but it's just not worked for me. And also, it looks like for a while they weren't getting the extra coin on the left there for a while, because I don't know why exactly, but it was just kind of difficult, I think, was the main thing. And you saw there, like, he barely got it. It looked like it was kind of glitchy as well. But yeah, this charge up here is actually kind of insane to get on the rail. And yeah, this whole world record is just pure perfection. I don't know when this is going to get improved. There might have to be a new strat, or just like some sort of optimization on either the gap cut or the red rock or the ending cut. Something's going to have to be found, because this world record is just perfect in almost every way. It's super fast. I don't think I've seen a single mistake. I don't think that's a mistake, but it could be, where they don't get the trick at the end. But I'm pretty sure that's what he's supposed to do. Regardless, though, absolutely insane world record. Yeah, this will be very hard to beat. And also, by the way, previous world record was actually set in December. So it wasn't set in January. This has been set in January. It was on January 8th when this was set. It's world record by Optic. But yeah, this insane shortcut at the start is one of the main reasons it hasn't been beaten yet. Optic's like the only player in the world that really ever goes for that shortcut. And I believe she's the only person that's ever gotten a world record with that shortcut in it. So if someone wants to beat this, they're going to have to go for that shortcut. I don't know how much time it saves, but I know it's a lot. Double coin there. That's a very hard double coin to get. Very impressive stuff. And now they shroom really early. They used to not shroom as early through that cut. And getting the low trick there, very nice. There's actually, it was really funny because at one point, I think it was like a 129 mid or something that she had, where the trick off that ramp specifically was really, really scuffed. I might try and find it, but it was really slow and you got a ton of air. And it just looked so funny. There was like a GIF going around of that specific thing. But yeah, get this wall ride, wall trick, barely make it. No trick there. I'm not too sure if it's possible to get the trick there. But yeah, just overall, fantastic world record. Really optimized, and we're going to see this probably stand for a little bit longer as well. So this next world record is by Jacob. He's a mysterious guy because we don't actually know who he is. We just know his name's Jacob. And we don't know who he is in the community at all. Like, he doesn't have an online presence, it seems like, so he is trying to go for the 130, though, as you can see by his name in the world record. But basically, this guy has just grinded this track for as long as we know, getting this little hump trick on the side, which saves a ton of time, by the way. Like, that is definitely something I want to learn how to get consistently, because that saves a lot over getting the charge jump. It's basically like taking an extra shroom cut. That's essentially what this guy is doing. And before I forget, I want to mention this. I still want to do the World Record Recap series on this channel. And that's the whole reason why I'm doing this video, is because, you know, the whole January recap was not going so well. And I kind of gave up on that video. And so I wanted to actually give you guys a start, I guess. Like a kickstart to the series. And I was wondering, do you guys want to see me do the World Record Recap series every week? Every 2 weeks? Or do you want to see me do just short form content of it? So like every time there's something major, like a new shortcut or a big time save or something, just, you know, a major accomplishment for someone, like their first world record, something like that. Do you want to see that in short form? Or Also, that's an insane disc at the end. But yeah, do you want to see which one of those 3 options? So this world record is by Bochiyama. This was set all the way back in October, which is insane stuff. It's lasted for literally 5 months now. And the main reason is just this track is just super optimized already. There might be a time where the world records actually go on that rail up top. They've been trying to make that work for a long time, but it just hasn't worked out yet. You get extra coins. There's a lot of different things you can do. But the thing is, you get so many coins on lap 1, it just hasn't been worth it. And the big thing is, like, this world record was really, really insane at the time. And it still is to this day. Like, that starting strat as well, that they're doing on all 3 laps, that's really, really difficult to get. And he's also just going really, really tight on a lot of turns where most people online are not taking them that tight. You're also getting a long wall ride, which definitely helps. A lot of people online just insta-trick off the wall to not hit the pole, which would send you flying and lose you a ton of time. But this guy has no fear, obviously. And, I mean, just look how tight that is. You can bonk that wall super easily and just end up not getting on the rail. And obviously that would just end your run on the spot. There is some, like, RNG strats for that rail at the start that you can get. But I don't even know if it's faster. It might save, like, a frame or 2, but you have to get so lucky to, like, clip the edge of the rail before you get on the turn skip rail, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain, but point is, this world record could stand for another 5 months. That's how good it is. But maybe it gets beaten in the next week. Who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen in these world records on any track, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of these early world records are super optimized, which is exciting, but also kind of sad because this game has only been out for, what, 8 months? 9 months? So this world record is by Nugget. He is been a force on this track for a long time. He's held the world record on this track for probably like 4 or 5 months, I think. Something crazy like that. It might have gone back and forth between him and some other person for a little bit during those 4 months, but this world record is pretty insane. They get that first coin at the start, which actually saves a ton of time, by the way, because of the fact that in this game, the difference between 0 and 1 coins is actually a much bigger difference than, say, like 14 to 15 coins. That margin is much larger, and you actually really want to get one of those coins early on, and they found a way to not lose a ton of time at the start by just charge jumping into that coin. And so that's been the strat for a little bit. Hasn't been enough, however, to get the sub 2 minute, which I believe will happen eventually. You saw that strat at the start where they did, I believe, left trick into right trick instead of right trick into left trick. That might save, I don't even know, like 50 milliseconds. But it's so risky to get that they just don't go for it. I also think it might be easier on lower coins, and that's why they go for it on lap 1. I'm not too sure about that one, but this is another track where people have really been trying to expand their brains and figure out stuff. Especially on, like, the more rail part of the track, I guess. Trying to figure out how to optimize just enough to get the sub 2. Hasn't been enough yet. This left trick, though, to get an extra trick on the rail is kind of incredible. Just because getting the Veiler with no coin, the coin actually disappears, obviously, and stays disappeared, so it's very hard to get that shortcut. It's much easier with the coin. Getting that left trick afterwards is just insane. So the fact that they get it in a world record on a great pace is just insane. They're another one of those tracks where I don't know when we're going to see another world record on, but I believe this is the final track where that's going to be the case. So now we're on Airship Fortress, and I was actually working on partially a short of this track specifically. I was going to start making YouTube shorts for the World Record Rodos Recap. And I asked Lego Wee Man. Actually, no, I believe it was for January, actually, as well. But basically, I asked Lego Wee Man what his goal was on this track. And he told me that he wanted to get a 0.1, like a 154.1. And he actually beat that time. So, this is probably a really good run, according to his standards. And I believe that lap 1, a 38.9 is always a really, really good lap. But the reason why I was doing like a special, I guess, kind of semi-interview for him is because there's a special thing that happened for the very first time in January on this track, which propelled the potential to new heights, at least in terms of world records. I believe the world record before this grand event, this grand mysterious event happened, was like a 0.4 or something. But now, with 2 really good laps, you can do this. So you barely get 2 right tricks. Beforehand, you had to just get a normal trick because the rocky wrench was actually in your way. Because on laps 2 and 3, you actually just cannot, or on laps 2 and 1, the rocky wrench is not sticking out, so it doesn't block your way to get the right trick. But on lap 3, it was for a long time. But now, it's been cleared. They got that pace, they got past the pace lock, that pace break. Yeah, that's the word for it. So they got the pace break. And we might even see a 153 on this track fairly soon. This one is really good, but someone might be able to do a slight improvement to make this track even faster. So I actually mixed up this track and the last track. This track I was going to make a short on. And I actually, again, semi-interviewed Miquel. And he also beat his new goal that he, or no, he didn't actually. It was a 0.4. He wanted to get a 0.4. This is a 0.524, so very, very close to his goal. But there's a brand new shortcut on this track. Yep, you just trick off the snow and get on that rail, cut off the entire snow patch, which people were actually thinking about using a shroom through because of the fact you can take this ending shortcut shroomless. However, they found that that wasn't faster. And that shortcut that you guys just saw was invented by Tanuki. And that 40.1 is just a wild lap. I don't know if that's the best known split. It might be a 39 by this point, but I'm pretty sure it's really close. They actually don't go for it on laps 2 and 3 because of the fact that you need a frame perfect exit, which is what they got. Miquel got it on lap 1 to make sure you save enough time to actually be faster than going around. The reason why it's so much faster on lap 1 is because you usually would go for coins, but you actually replenish those coins on lap 1 anyways by taking the ramp coin and the coin going into the snow patch trick. But we might see a 2 for 3 run on this track eventually. However, getting that frame perfect exit is really, really difficult. I don't believe it's as hard as, say, like Desert Hills, that shortcut that they got at the very end. So they were thinking about getting that 3 for 3 eventually in a run, or 2 for 3 at least. And I believe they did get it 2 for 3, but that was before a bunch of new strats. But yeah, this track we might see a 2 for 3 run fairly soon, because this world record was only set less than a week ago. So if some madman is wild enough to go for that shortcut, you can save like 0.2 if you get a frame perfect exit, and that might be enough for some players. Now, this is one of those tracks where there actually has been a new strat, and you'll see it right away, and that is this edge trick. They used to not get that at the start, and they're getting it all 3 laps now. It saves, I believe, like almost 0.2. So it's kind of crazy that we hadn't found it until 2026, but that was the case. And I'm not too sure how good this world record is. I don't know if I could spot it with my own eyes, if I'm being honest. Oh yeah, okay, so if they don't get this charge jump all 3 laps, my guess is that there's a little bit of time to save. Yeah, this track, unfortunately, is kind of inconsistent. Both with the charge jump and the actual shortcut itself. Like, I'm pretty sure Wood has said that he only gets that around 30% of the time. So, the fact that one of the best players in the world on this track only gets that shortcut a third of the time at best just means that alone, you're only getting a 3-for-3 run. You know, like 5% of the time. And that's not considering the charge jump. That's not considering the edge trick at the start. The edge trick's not super difficult, I think. But he didn't get the fast strat where you kind of connect to the wall like he did on lap 1. I guess not really connect, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you kind of budge the wall. He didn't get that on lap 2. I don't know if he gets it here on lap 3. No, he doesn't. It might not be possible on laps 2 and 3 because you have a different angle. I'm pretty sure it is, though. So there's a little bit of time to save on this track. Probably. That little, wasn't even like a wall ride, but he was kind of falling off, I guess, the wall. Or the platform. But barely not. Okay, so he didn't get a charge jump here either. So there's a little bit of time to save on this track, but again, this track is so inconsistent. This last turn too, by the way, is kind of inconsistent as well. So just this whole track all around is really, really hard to perform on. And you get a little camera 360 action just to flex. That's pretty funny. So I was curious about the longest standing world records on this track because Jamie had, I believe, the longest standing world record on this track for 1 day. Like, not 1 day total, but like he had it 1 day over someone else. Because Dino Dino Jungle was the longest standing world record until today. Shy Guy Bazaar, actually, that world record that lasted 5 months, yeah, that's now the longest world record in Mario Kart World history. So that's kind of incredible. But anyways, the reason why this world record was broken and why it didn't stand as the longest world record is because I believe they're now doing a charge jump heading into laps 2 and 3. Yeah, right here. And they're getting, yeah, that extra trick as well to the left. Which is the main reason why this has been improved by Jamie. Jamie, just like Wood as well in the previous track, is one of those guys that just hunts one track exclusively. He was in 8 Deluxe the guy that held Moonview Highway for the longest time. Not even Sky High Sunday. Yeah, that's right. Mainly because, my guess is, you know, a little bit different in this game. Just a little bit. Oh, okay, so they get that as well on lap 3. I wasn't familiar with that, but they left trick really far to that rail, which is kind of interesting. I hadn't seen that strat before. But yeah, he's been hunting Sky High Sunday basically since release, Jamie has. And he's held the world record on this track for a majority of the game's lifespan, if I'm not remembering things incorrectly. Oh, he actually gets this on lap 3 as well. Wow, okay, so this world record might end up being one of the longest standing in the game, because that, I don't know how you did ever improve that, to be honest. So this world record has actually lasted almost 100 days. It's lasted 87 days. But this is a track that can very easily, I say easily, but there's a lot of time saved to be had on this track. There's a strat at the very end of the track. I don't know if it can be done on laps 1 and 2, but I know it can be done on lap 3. And it does save a decent amount. And as you guys know, there's a new Shroomless shortcut on this track. It doesn't have any bearings on the Shroom side of things. But, oh, they actually get this edge trick now. Okay, for a while they didn't. For whatever reason. I forgot why exactly. But I guess they thought that it wasn't faster. But yeah, you can also get 2 edge tricks here, which I believe probably saves a frame or 2. So instead of getting 1 edge trick like they did, you can get 2 on laps 1 and 2 at least. But on lap 3, there's an even crazier strat. I don't know if I'll be able to show it or not, but you're able to... Oh, you get a trick there. That's incredible. I did not think that was even possible. Let's see. How good are these shortcuts? Okay, that one, even though it looked really bad, I'm pretty sure that was much faster than lap 1. And also, he doesn't get the SMT there. I don't know how much time that actually loses, but... Yeah, what was I saying? That shroom cut, even though it looked bad, since it got really low air, it might have been actually faster than what he got on lap 1, which is kind of incredible to say, but... Yeah, there's a bunch of random strats on this track. You can also kind of clip that edge of that wall after doing the palm tree Nisk and save a lot of time. But again, it's kind of random. I believe you can also get a trick there on lap 3, depending on your wave cycle. Like, that one I think was the best, because it kind of got a little bit lower air than lap 1, but it also didn't bonk the wall, obviously. Okay, he doesn't get the SMT again. Again, no idea if it saves any time. We'll see. I don't think he gets this wall ride thing. Yeah, no, he doesn't. So you can wall ride at the end and save a little bit of time. But yeah, there's a lot to improve on that track. It's just wave cycles, a bunch of randomness in general. I believe there's even potentially a starting strat as well here that you can do. That saves a little bit. Like at the beginning of lap 1, I think you can charge jump onto that little tiny red wall and save a little bit. I'm not too sure. Might be wrong about that, but anyways, let's move on. So this track, I believe, has the most... No, it doesn't have the most recent world record. One happened... There's 2, actually. It happened very recently. But this is a very recent world record, mainly because of the fact that there's a brand new shortcut here. Yep, that's right. You get a charge jump into a wall ride and skip that entire shroom cut without a mushroom. And I believe he might go for it, actually. Oh, he does go for it again. Okay, I wasn't too sure if he would on laps. Wow, he actually gets it the same way. I thought the coin would matter so much to get a bunch of height, kind of like Valor on Warrior Stadium. I thought it would matter a lot to get that. Oh, did they go for it on all 5 laps? Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to learn this strat, because if they can get it 5 for 5 in the world record, I can get it at least once and save a lot of time on Koopa Troopa Beach. Because this track I've been struggling with online at least. Oh, okay. So he doesn't go for it all in 5 laps. Either way, I'm still going to probably practice this, because this is a track where if you can get it... What? He's going for it on lap 5? Why does he not go for it on lap 4? Was it just like a spur of the moment alignment thing? I don't know. Alberto could probably let us know on that. Maybe it was just like a psychological thing. I don't even know. But that was weird. I don't know why he went for the normal shroom cut on lap 4 and then went for it on lap 5. That was really strange. But yeah, that's really cool. A really cool new shortcut you guys probably haven't seen before. But that's definitely something that I want to practice, and maybe some of you want to practice as well, because that saves a lot of time. So now we got James on Faraway Oasis. He's held the world record on this track for a very, very long time. In fact, I kind of want to check how long his world record reign has been. I know he just got beaten recently. 97% of the total game's lifespan, he has held this world record. Or held this track's world record. And, I mean, he's just been dominant since day one. There's really not much else to say. Yep, I was looking forward to seeing this track. I didn't know if he actually got it or not. But yeah, you could get the extra coin there and save a ton of time over the entire run. So I believe this world record is not super optimized because of that fact. I think it saves like 0.4 over the whole run, getting that extra coin. Which sounds crazy, just one coin saving 0.4. But that strat that he did on lap 1 didn't lose barely anything. Probably like 50 milliseconds, if I had to guess. But overall, the coin is going to save so much. Like I said, you know, the early coins on the track, they're going to save more time overall because you're obviously having more speed for more of the run. So, like that coin on Wario Stadium, that looked really good, but he's getting like a weird side trick. That looks so funny. Yeah, he kind of like went so far, and it was so fast, but he couldn't hold left hard enough, I guess. And so he had to... He almost got a wall trick or something. Like a wall ride trick. I don't know. Anyways. We'll see how good his cut here is on lap 3. Oh, he doesn't get the trick. Oh, no. That definitely loses quite a bit. So that's one very seeable time save. That looks really... That was his best cut by far, I think. Even though lap 2 looked really fast, the exit of it was not so nice. But yeah. Just incredible stuff from James. And also, I forgot to even mention, there was that edge trick. That extra edge trick that he got. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but yeah. He's getting that on all 3 laps, which is kind of insane. And now, we got Jack on Peach Stadium. This is the first guy that I believe got... Was it the turn skip? Or it might have been the turn skip. I forget if he got the turn skip first in the world record or if it was something else. I think it was the turn skip. I might be remembering wrong. But he also does this strat now, where he charge jump into the boost panel, and that does save a lot of time. But yeah, they're doing this new version of the turn skip now, as well, where you charge up onto that wall, which is kind of incredible. It might have been this wall ride strat too. I honestly don't remember if he was the first to do something. It might have been this wall ride, to be honest. I don't think it was turn skip that he was the first to do it on. He was the first to do something. Anyways, he does this insane pole strat, which I don't think he does in laps 2 and 3, but it saves an incredible amount of time if you do it correctly. But it's so random and so difficult that he only goes for it, and people have only really ever gone for it on lap 1. At least that are in contention for world records. But anyways, another incredible turn skip. It's just, this track is so mesmerizing. I kind of wish the strats on it were consistent, because this would be a really fun track to play online if the strats weren't consistent. And maybe people will find ways to make them consistent eventually, and this track will be amazing online. But for now, this is one of the least played tracks and one of my least favorite. And that might be the case for a lot of people. But I know for a fact there's a couple people that do the turn skip online. It's just those guys are complete psychopaths and have practiced this track for many, many, many hundreds of hours. So, yeah. We'll see if this ever gets implemented into online races. But for now, these are going to be time trial exclusive for the most part. And I mean, it's just so mesmerizing, especially that last wall ride at the end. Barely enough to get the 213, by the way, which is, I mean, good stuff from Jack. He's been grinding this for a while. I think he might have been the first to get 215, 215, 214, and 213 on this track. So he's been really optimizing this track to its fullest potential. So yeah, just to correct myself, he was actually not the first one to get 216 or 215, but he was the first to get 214 and 213. So Jack optimized Peach Stadium, not quite as much as I said, but he did a lot. Did a lot of stuff on that track. Anyways, now we're on Peach Beach, where Panda, I believe this is Panda, right? Yeah, Panda has the world record, 142.56. And Panda, if you don't know, is mainly known for his Mario Kart Deluxe world records. And I believe this is the only track that he's grinded in the entire game. He might have had one other or two other world records on different tracks, but this is the only track he's really, really grinded. So, this is one of those tracks that I think can be improved by quite a bit. But not a lot of people enjoy driving this track, except for Panda. He loves this track, and he has been able to really put a distance between him and second on this track. And that's the main reason, you know, people are deterred. But yeah, there's an extra trick you can get there. I think this world record might actually be pretty good. But early on when Panda was grinding, the world records were not super optimized. And I was kind of waiting to see if anyone else would take the world record here, but that turn was really good, by the way. There's a new shroom here at the end, since you only use 2. He doesn't do it, I believe, in this world record. And it's just like a lame shroom through the water shrew. I believe it might be able to save like 0.1 or something. But the rest of the run by Panda is so good that it'll be difficult to beat this. So these next 2 tracks back-to-back are held by players who had previous world records in this video. So Salty Speedway, Dino Jungle are going to be both held by multi-world record holders, and they're the only multi-world record holders in the entire game. So yeah, you saw that brand new strat on this track where you charge jump to get just enough air to clear the water instead of having to go through the water like they have been on laps 1. Laps 2 and 3, they don't have to worry about that. They have enough coins, they get an MT trick. I don't know, they might actually do that charge jump on laps 2 and 3 now because it could be faster. But beforehand, they were never doing that charge jump. But yeah, you're also doing like a bunch of left tricks, getting on this 2 of those benches actually, which is just incredible. That requires a lot of precision, and I don't know if anyone will ever be going for that online because it is just so punishing if you do not get that, because of the fact out of bounds is very close to that. And also, that is very dicey, that strat. As you can see, Optic barely stayed on the track there, but it was enough to get the world record here. So we'll see. Does Optic go for the triple, or is it quadruple? 1, 2, 3. Okay, it is quadruple right trick. So she does do it on laps 1 and 2. I don't know. Will she go on lap 3 for it? We'll see, because that is a very difficult strat. However, if anyone is going to do it for 3 for 3, it will be Optic. This whole track in general is just super, super difficult to get down. There's just so many high-tech, high-intensity strats. A lot of them are never going to be worth going for online, but, I mean, okay, so she doesn't go for it on lap 3. It's probably not faster on lap 3 because you just want to go straight as possible, and not, because you want to go on the left side, obviously, to get the double charge jump, because you go more straight over there as opposed to going for a left MT and a right MT, for example. But yeah, this record, I believe, can be improved because of that charge jump strat that we see here on lap 1. They might be able to do that on laps 2 and 3 eventually. But for now, there also might be a new coin strat here. But I believe it loses too much. Anyways, let's move on to the next world record. So if there was anyone that you could have possibly guessed to have multiple world records at Mario Kart World, it was probably Alberto. And he actually did beat, just a couple weeks ago, the longest standing world record on this track. Or, not on this track, but in the game's history. He beat it a couple weeks ago, and now that Shy Guy Bazaar world record we saw earlier on is now the longest standing world record in Mario Kart World history. I keep forgetting to say Mario Kart World history because it just doesn't feel like it's, you know, history making, I guess, or history breaking. I don't even know what the word is for that. Point is, it doesn't feel like we should have game-breaking world records at this point in this game's history. Like, it doesn't feel like that, but obviously someone has to have the longest standing world record. It's just, and it should be current if we're thinking about it like that. Also, I don't know what the new strat is on this track exactly, but I know there was something. I believe it might have been getting that coin on lap 1. Also, he like barely skims the dyno. That's kind of crazy. I believe it was getting that coin off the ramp on lap 1, which on this combo, I don't think saves too much time overall, because you do lose a little bit for going for it, because you kind of have to go out of your way. But obviously it does save time overall. Enough for Alberto to get this world record. And yeah, I mean, this could be one of those world records that stands the test of time. Could last, honestly, until 2027. We'll have to see, though, because this is a track that's beloved by a lot of people. We might see a lot of people grind this track in the future, especially if there's a brand new strat, which definitely could happen on this track. So now we got Great Block Ruins. This track is always going to be really funny to me. And the reason why is because I made a short on all the shortcuts on this track before I made the shortcut, or not shortcut tutorial, the track tutorial for this track. I was going to put it on this main channel, but it was another one of those videos that I didn't really like coming out of me. And so I just did like a, not rushed version, but more unedited on my second channel. Which does remind me, I need to make the second track tutorial very soon. And yeah, the reason why this is so funny is because in that YouTube short, with all the shortcuts on this track, I predicted that in like less than a month's time after that short came out, that this track would get sub 2 minutes. At the time, the world record was like 2:04. So I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's early on in the game's lifespan, like, people are gonna improve this. Oh, how wrong I was. This is like so far off from being sub 2 minutes. It just got sub 2:02. Like, what was this? Like a couple weeks ago? Yeah, 3 weeks ago is when they got the sub 2:02. And I thought they were going to get the sub 2 minute like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. So I'm kind of crazy for saying that, and that's why we'll always remember this as a funny track. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. That's a really low air there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but that looks kind of weird. Doesn't get the trick coming out of the shortcut. So yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of improvement to be had on this track in general. But it's just tiny stuff, you know? It's not a lot of things. And he goes really high on that, by the way. That was pretty insane. I believe there could be a way to do that box cut at the end a little bit faster. But it's kind of difficult. I don't know if we'll ever see a sub 2 minute on this track. Unless there's like a game-breaking shortcut that we just don't know about yet. So, until that happens, this track is going to stay above sub 2 minutes. Probably for the rest of 2026. So, the fact that in 2025 I thought this would be easily sub 2 minute is just kind of funny. Anyways, moving on. So, fun fact, this world record has lasted exactly 100 days. Which is completely crazy. Considering this track has a long ways to go, I think. This track has been optimized a lot by Flurry and Pluto. And these guys have done a great job getting this down to 154. But I believe 153 is on the horizon. I think there's a couple new strats as well. Like, I think you can get on the rail and end up making that faster. So there's a rail after the first shortcut, and then there's another rail to the left of that. I believe that rail is also faster in some way. Don't know how exactly, but it's very difficult. Yeah, that's an incredible lap, by the way. 39 flat. Insane. And that shortcut, all these shortcuts on the track are very difficult, honestly. The charge jump Tarzan is much more difficult than the online version of the Tarzan, because you just have to get everything perfectly lined up from the get-go, rather than, you know, you being able to adjust on a variety of different, I guess, you know, just ways you get through onto the waterfall. There's just so much variation, at least on the high handling combos. I don't know, it might be easier on this combo to get the charge jump Tarzan, but it's still very difficult. I might try to do that for the Master Staff Go series, which will be streamed here. But for now, I'm not going to be loading this anytime soon, because that's just crazy, crazy stuff. There's also an insane thing you can do after the Charged Up Tarzan that, let's just say, is going to be insane to see once it is in a world record. But it saves a lot of time. I don't know if we're going to see it anytime soon, but just a little sneak peek for potential world record recaps in the future. But yeah, this track has a long ways to go, but this is still a great run. That's all I gotta say. So this track may have some new tech that I have not seen before, but I know the next track definitely has some new tech that you guys haven't seen before, because it's a brand new strat. Also, nice camera work. Love to see that. But this is one of those tracks, by the way, I believe that was in contention to be used in a glitch world record. Okay, so they don't do the new tech. I believe it's supposed to be done on lap 1. So we might see some new stuff on this track in the near future, just like with Cheep Cheep Falls. But this track, the reason why it's so hard to get a world record on this track is because the pace is so locked because of the fact that on lap 3, you know how on lap 3 normally the dial will be spinning counterclockwise for the, not the dial I guess, but like the reel for this part of the track right here. On lap 3 will be spinning the other way. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, people have gotten paces so fast that they're not able to make it to a time where it's spinning counterclockwise. Like, it's still spinning the other way. So that's why it's hard to get a good pace going into lap 3 that actually does save time, because of the fact that reel saves you a lot of time if it's able to go the other way. So it might show up on screen, and I also might be totally wrong about this, and I'm just completely waffling. But yeah, you see, it's spinning in the opposite direction. Oh, he actually does go around it for a lot of it. He does cut it inside for some of the ending of it. But yeah, that's the main reason why you don't see many world records on this track. It's very hard to get one. It's because the reel is just spinning clockwise until you basically are halfway through the turn. It used to be you could take that entire turn, but yeah. Anyways, 203 on this track is pretty incredible. I don't know how much improvements you can get on this track until you completely destroy the pace on this track and you don't even need to take that turn tight anymore, but for now, we're still barely taking the counterclockwise reel on lap 3, but we might not see that in the future. So, we have a Rocky Wrench world record. Yep, that's right. Krin just got this world record yesterday with a brand new strat. And you'll see it straight away. You'll see him get it right here. He doesn't get the orange turbo boost off the wall, but instead tricks off early to ensure he gets an extra trick, an extra low trick off that ramp. Now, this is a track I've been meaning to go back to because of this next strat. You guys might have not seen this before, but you can actually charge jump onto this candle and skip the rail. That's the main reason why I want to practice this track, is because that right there saves time, and it also doesn't go on the dreaded rail. And also, I didn't know if they had done that on lap 1 yet, but yeah, they also just use a shroom there to get a wall trick, and I believe they were only doing that on lap 3 for the longest time. And I say the longest time, it was like a couple weeks at most. So, yeah. This track has been revolutionized over the past couple months. It's been a wild thing to see develop. Yeah, they are doing it on all 3 laps now. But yeah, that's a shroom cut that's going to be much more consistent compared to just getting a trick at the end of the little hump. So this is definitely a track I'm going to be practicing probably right after this video, to be honest. And these edge tricks, by the way, are so insane to go for. but he just gets them. And he's getting the wall strat on lap 3. It's kind of dependent on just where you go, I guess, on each lap, because it's kind of random as to where you spit out after all the edge tricks. So it turns out he was able to go for that on lap 3. Yeah, this is just a track that's been destroyed. And this was also the first 205, so they just completely skipped the 0.9 mark. And now they're at low 0.8, mainly because of that new strat that we saw at the beginning. And now we have Meadows by Kenzer. He has been a dominant force on this track for a very long time. Very similar to what James has on Faraway Oasis. He was also fairly recently, I say fairly recently, it was 3 months ago, where he was beaten by Spezzy on this track for a couple times, but he's regained the world record and held it for about 80 days. And yeah, he's just been the, the inventor of a lot of strats on this track, and has been able to perform them as well for what seems like an impossible track for everybody else in the entire world. I guess except for Spezzy. He recently picked up the track. I, again, say recently, 3 months ago. But this is just such incredibly difficult tech all around. Look at this. I mean, just look at this. He hasn't used the shroom for the first 2 laps because he's done this shroomless shortcut. That's a shortcut that not many people can get with shrooms. And he gets it shroomless, which is just insane. Like, the first shroom he used was through a tiny little grass shortcut by tricking off the fence. That's his first shroom usage. This is just one of the most unique tracks, especially in time trials, in the entire game. And probably the hardest track to get a good time on in the entire game as well. Does he go for this? No. Oh, okay, he gets a middle coin. What in the world is going on? What? I thought they shroomed through that cut at least once, but nope. He just uses the cow to get a good enough bounce to go through it. So they're going to use a shroom through this final cut to get a tighter wall ride. That saves up quite a bit of time. But yeah, I'm mesmerized. I actually hadn't seen this world record. I'm very surprised they hadn't used a shroom through that shortcut. But yeah, who needs shrooms when you can just charge jump through it? By the way, if you try that, you're not going to make it. I can promise you that. If you try charge jumping that cut without a shroom, you're not. It's just not possible for you. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. Unless your name is Kenzer or Spezzy, you're not getting that shroomless. So I was actually looking through to see if I had missed a track, because I felt like I did. And I was right. I did skip Dandelion Depths. This is going to be in the correct part of the video, so you guys are going to be very confused. But yeah, I had actually skipped over this track until I had reacted to Meadows. So yeah, this track actually has a new strat that uses a completely different path here. It actually goes right path here. However, it's not going to be in this world record because it was just discovered literally yesterday. So that new strat, I believe, saved over a quarter of a second. And it's going to be very interesting to see how people implement it, because there's probably a way to implement it to make it even faster than it is right now. I'm kind of debating whether or not to put a lot of these new strats in. Oh wow, that was a really tight cut. He doesn't get the UMT, but he got like a little... it was the same thing that happened on another track. I'm trying to remember what it was, but like they were just barely on the track and able to cut it really, really tight. I'm trying to think of what track it was. I mean, it was another long turn just like that, where they had barely stayed on. I don't know. I can't remember. You guys probably remember it because it was probably much more recent for you guys. But anyways, going right side now to get these coins. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this track develops because of that new path switch. Oh, he actually gets it this lap as well. Wow. So this run is pretty optimized for the strats that they know. Obviously, now that we have this new path switch method, it's not going to be as optimized. but this is probably as good as it was going to get. Actually, I think there's 2 edge tricks you can get there as well that might save a little bit. So we might see a revolution of world records on this track, which is kind of exciting because this was the only track in the game that I got a world record on. And it's really cool to see how this track is developing because of the fact that this doesn't seem like a track where there's a lot of tech on it. But, you know, over the last couple months especially, there's been a lot of new stuff that has just transformed this into a 218. So you guys are about to be double confused because I just reacted to Dandelion Depths saying that it would be in the correct spot. It's not in the correct spot because I just remembered what the other track was that had that weird, you know, not wall ride, but it, you know, that super tight turn. It was indeed Starview Peak by Wood. He got that turn extra tight on lap 2, I think, and it looked very similar to what I believe that's Arusugawa. Let me double check. Hold on, I forgot to check what his name was. I did that for the other Japanese guys, but not him. Okay, I was right. It was Arusugawa. But yeah, he'd gotten that on laps 1 and 2 for that track, I believe. So it was very interesting to see that same phenomenon happen. I wonder if that's going to happen in other tracks very far into the future, you know, if they're going to get that on purpose. But now we got Choco Mountain. This track is also one of those tracks where this will have revolutionary strats in the future. Probably likely to get sub 2. And I actually didn't see if they got all the correct coins or not. But there's a new coin strat on this track as well that lets you get up to 8 coins. Or was it 9? I don't remember. I can probably check, actually, after we watch this, but I believe you're supposed to have... I don't know. Anyways, point is, this track, we're going to see a new shroom cut. This is not going to be the shroom cut from the future, or in the future, because there's a new shroom strat on this track that saves a lot of time, but it's very random. It might have been in a world record at some point, but Ace ended up beating it with older strats, potentially. I'm not too sure if that's correct. They might not have gotten a world record with the new shroom cut, but anyways, this is a very, very good run by Ace. And, oh, he actually misses that trick. And those horns are probably a sign of that. But anyways, that is a really good record regardless. We're going to see probably a sub 201 very, very soon, though. I can sense it. So not only is there a potential new shroom cut on Choco Mountain, but there's also new coins that you can get. So there's 2 new coins. I wasn't too sure if he got them or not, but he definitely didn't get either one. So you're supposed to get 8 coins on lap 1, actually. And that's what's going to give you a potential sub 2 minute time on that track. Definitely a sub 2-1 in the near future. But anyways, now we got Toad's Factory. This track, unfortunately, is one of the most boring world records in the game. But it is still fairly exciting in general. Because look at that, barely getting the boost panel and getting this right mini turbo to get this ultra mini turbo. And this world record is by F. He's infamous for the Waluigi Stadium world records from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. He was very, very famous for those world records. He would optimize that track to its fullest potential, even get turn skills. I don't even think it's fully optimized. I don't even know. I think he only gets it 1 lap in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still. Might have to revisit Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Records at some point, by the way. Let me know if you want to see that. And also, question for the comments. What is the most exciting world record in the current world records you've seen? So we're almost at the end of the video. I want you guys to tell me what you think is the most exciting world record. It might be coming up, to be honest. Because these last couple of tracks are definitely going to be a sight to behold. We have just Bowser's Castle and the Special Cup to go, but these last 4 world records are going to be very, very exciting, especially compared to these last, you know, or especially compared to Toad's Factory, I guess, because this world record is not super exciting. But this is still a very nice world record in general, and good stuff to F for pushing this down to a 151. So now we're on to Bowser's Castle. This world record is by Rai. He's had this for a while. However, he has been trying to get a new world record on this track as of recently. He's been putting a lot of best-known splits up, and he does actually go for this very, 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 very difficult strat at the start. Very difficult first cut. That's been very much changed over the last couple months. It's been just a shortcut that's given us a lot of trouble because we saw how to get it initially with that charge jump into that little 90-degree wall. That was how we originally did it. And then we used the rail a bunch of different ways. And then we went back to the ground to use the wall. And now we're back onto the rail again. It's been crazy to see the developments here. But yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is actually slower than doing it the way he did it on lap 1, but just barely. But it's much more consistent to get it that way on all the other laps. I could be wrong. It could be the case that, you know, getting those extra coins and barely losing time is worth it, but I believe that's still also faster. This cut also very, very difficult to pull off. And at some point, we're probably going to be able to beat that meteor out on lap 2 and able to take that a little bit tighter. It doesn't lose too much time, obviously, but if there's a world record on this track, it's always a big world record cut. Like, there's always a big chunk of time just shaved off. And it's mainly because of how this is just by far the most inconsistent track in the entire game, and it's just not even close. At least in terms of time trials. It's also fairly consistent online, if I'm being honest, but in time trials, it's even more consistent because of the fact that you just go for these insane versions of each shortcut to save as much time as possible. And this is pretty incredible for a world record on this track. He does get a little bit of a, I guess, bump to the left there at the end, which lost a little bit of time. We could definitely see a sub 210 in the next world record on this track. That's how crazy this track is. But yeah, for now, we're going to let it rest at a 2:10.646. So Acorn Heights, this is one of those tracks, just like Choco Mountain, where there's been a lot of developments. However, the developments do not save as much time as on Choco Mountain, which is the main reason why we haven't seen a world record in so long on this track. This world record has lasted 131 days, I believe, by Demon, right? Yeah, by Demon. He's had this world record since October? Yep, since October. And this is one of those tracks that will be improved, I believe. It's very difficult to improve this track in practicality because of the fact that this run is just so good by Demon. And this shroom cut has been revolutionized a little bit for at least one of the laps. I won't try and spoil exactly what is going to happen here because I'm not too sure myself, but there's stuff with the ending rails as well that's been in the works. We'll see if it all comes to fruition at some point, or if there's even, you know, potentially a new strat that they find. But yeah, point here is this track is just so incredibly, I guess, rail dependent with all the vines. And the tracks with more rails, the harder it is to optimize because you're not taking a turn, really, on any part that you're on a rail. So it's really just up to you getting the trick timings down and getting the boosts out at the appropriate times. That's the main reason why, you know, Shy Guy Bazaar is one of the, or I guess is the longest standing world record in Mario Kart World history. It's because there's so many different rails that you gotta get on, and same reason why Acorn Heights is the same way. There's a lot of rails. Any track with a lot of rails is going to have very long-standing world records, both right now and in the future. So this is actually a track where a player by the name of Kaiser Clement got his first world record on. He got a 103.165 and then improved by 0.2 the next day to propel this track to even greater heights. To now, we have a 102 on this track. People have been theorizing that this might be the final track to get a sub-minute time on. However, we are a long ways away, obviously. This track is very short, so the fact that, you know, we're going to have to find a lot of different shortcuts and a lot of different strats to optimize. There's one right here. You could potentially go on this wall and take like a tighter turn. That's an idea that people have had. Don't know if it's confirmed to be faster or not, but yeah. For now, though, Kaiser Clement has cemented himself as the first and only guy in Mario Circuit history to get a 102, and it's just a very clean run overall. So, congrats to him. So I believe this is the longest world record reign in Mario Kart World history right now. I might be mistaken about that. I'll probably edit in what is the longest world record reign. I'm pretty sure it is this, though, because he's had the world record on Rainbow Road for about, what, 7 months? Straight, I believe. Since, I believe, August 19th is what I'm seeing right now. Yeah. So, he has been the world record holder for Rainbow Road in the previous game as well. The Nitro Rainbow Road. And he has been a force just on almost every Rainbow Road, to be honest. He had 3DS Rainbow Road world record on 200cc as well for a long time. And he loved 200cc, the game mode. Had a lot of world records in that game. And now he's transferred those skills onto this Rainbow Road in Mario Kart World. And it has definitely paid off because he is one of the most dominant forces on any track for Mario Kart in general. And he has just been absolutely the gold standard for this track. And there is a streamless shortcut that they might go for here on this track eventually. It's right here. You can get onto that ramp and save a lot of time. The problem is you skip those 2 coins and you don't get either one of these 2 coins. So for now, we're not going to see that shortcut because of the fact that it's kind of like a reverse pace lock. You want to go slower to get those coins. That shortcut, by the way, incredible stuff. Gets both the coins afterwards. That's the most difficult part of that shortcut, to be honest. Is because a lot of times you get set really wide because you have to hold left for so long. But Technical just gets it with ease in this world record. And I wonder if there's going to be a new strat here, because I don't know if it was discovered before or after Technical got this world record. It's going to be on the entry into Section 4. You guys might have seen it. I'll see if he ends up doing it. There's also a new strat here, I believe. Yep, they charge jump into this phantom trick to go across that road, or across the gap to get onto the road. And we'll see if he does the strat here, but basically what he can do is fall off on purpose, respawn, and save time, which sounds crazy, but it actually works. Let's see, does he do it here? Okay, no, he doesn't. He doesn't. So, in future world records, it might be the case that they use that. It does lose 3 coins, so it might, in the very long run, not be faster, but I believe it is. It saves like 0.5 or something crazy, and I've seen a lot of people go for it online, because it's just so simple to do. We will see if it's ever going to be a world record strat on this track. But for now, Technical is not doing that respawn. And let's see. Oh, okay, so I was wondering if he would charge jump or just get the trick there. And he does just get the trick. Very, very difficult to do, by the way. that is something I don't think we'll ever see people go for online because it's just so incredibly difficult to get. And he does the double SMT here. Does he get 2? Okay, he only gets 1 edge trick. I thought for some reason he'd go for 2, just based off the double SMT. But, I mean, a very iconic world record. And we're probably going to see a technical improve this track to a 353 at some point. And I cannot wait to see that day. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this first world record reaction video from me. And let me know down in the comments section below, once again, what you want to see in terms of the World Record Rodos recap on the channel, because I'm very unsure of what I want to do, and I want just to push in the right direction, so please do let me know, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.